Hello. We'll wait for a few people to jump on here, but if you're with us, then leave us a comment. Let us know you're here. That's fantastic. If you're new here, then my name is Lindsay. This is Jess. We're here every Tuesday night at 7:30. We're answering questions that have been sent in by you guys. And tonight the question is, Lindsay and Jess, what's it like to be back showing? So and we've been asked that a lot in the last few weeks. So we're gonna get into that just a little bit. We're gonna try to give you some tips if you're getting back showing yourself. But just kind of let you know where we're at, I guess, after lockdown 2.0 and 3.0 and just a few, what has it been, 18 months of uncertainty. So we're going to get into that a little bit. If you're watching, leave us a comment. If you have questions as we go along, you can leave them here. We'll try to get to them. If we don't get to them while we're live, we'll get to them afterwards. And we wanted to give a shout out to everybody who's been watching, because there have been a whole bunch of you guys that have been watching, and some of you guys that we've seen now in person that are saying how much you're enjoying it. Lots of messages. Lots of messages coming into our emails or into our Facebook Messenger and stuff from you guys saying how much you're enjoying it. And we wanted to thank you for watching and sending questions in. I think it's great. Do you want to tell them about your celebrity sighting? I've only had one. You've had...
I had quite a few of them.
You've had quite a few from strangers?
From strangers and from things.
So tell them what happened.
Well, we've been at a bunch of places, and people will make the comment about seeing me on Lindsay's lives here and all the stuff she does. And I just think
it's ours. It's ours. What's mine is yours.
Everybody knows you set this up. I can't even turn my phone on. It's just kind of interesting, some of the different backgrounds, not just people we know, but just hunters and dressage people and lady at the feed store and just different places, and
our neighbors.
Always kind of neat.
Yeah, our neighbors. If you guys are watching, the lady at the flower store. I went in to get some flowers for my mom, and lady at the flower store, I had my mask on. The lady at the flower store recognized, and I had sunglasses on, recognized my forehead. So
just kind of fun.
Yeah,
it is fun.
It's fun. It's fun. It's very fun, and we're glad that you're liking it. That it's entertaining and maybe helping a little bit with your horses. So the question for tonight, looks like a few of you guys are on. Hi, Robin. Awesome. The question for tonight is, what is it like to be back showing? And in case you're watching this after the fact, this is, what are we in? We're in the end of July 2021. We're back to showing just as of the last few weeks after months and months of lockdowns.
So for anybody that's not from Ontario,
Ontario
has been locked down from showing for quite some time.
Heavily.
All year. Really.
All year, yeah.
I know I have lots of friends who keep sending me texts and videos of them showing, and whoop-de-doo to you, and boy, I'm real impressed when I get those. Other states, provinces have been doing way more than us. Good for you, not jealous. But in Ontario, just a couple weeks ago, we started having our first show. So for me, a big shout out, I guess, and a thank you. We had our first Rain and Horse show in Ontario. Ron and Jillian Leminski up in Meaford had that. Last weekend we went to some club shows. We went to a little Midwest club, who always has a pile of people. I know the Thompsons and ran quite a bit of that, and I feel bad.
I think Lisa Curra does a lot of that. Ken McClellan,
Ken has always done a lot of that.
Yeah.
And I know we're forgetting lots of people that ran it and helped out, and I apologize, I don't know all these.
Thanks to the whole Midwestern Horseman Society.
Yeah, and then we went to a cow horse show at the ORCHA, took some customers down there.
Yep.
And definitely appreciated, because in the past we have ran shows for associations. It's frustrating on the best of days. and trying to organize something on top of COVID restrictions from the government. So thank you very much to everybody
Yes.
who is doing that. Not just those shows. There's been lots of horse shows. I know they've had tons of barrel horse shows and you know, lots of other shows. They had a paint show on the weekend. They had another club show in Elmer. I don't know who runs them, and I apologize, but anyway, thank you for putting them on. I know they're a pain in the butt on the best of days, and at least now with COVID, it sure didn't make it easier, and we sure appreciate it. And from exhibitors and trainers and all that stuff, one thing I should say to all you people, you know, thank your show staff. They bust their butt for it. As Ruth Wentz is on there, who ran Michigan reining for many, many years and did a wonderful job. We always love their shows. The show staff is definitely not as appreciated as they should be. You know, definitely a big thank you to everybody who's running them, and to Ruth, who ran them in the past. But to everybody who's trying to run it this year, thanks a lot, and for letting us have horse shows, and let's just keep doing what we like. So on to the question. What is it like to be back showing? You haven't even shown, well, you've just been schooling horses for people. You haven't even... I haven't shown, well,
You've been in the pen, I guess, yeah.
Could it just be, what is it like to be back in public? See people?
Yeah. I feel like it's strangely normal. To like, the shows that we have been at, it's been strangely normal. Like, it's been
nice to get into a routine.
Yeah, it's been outdoors. There's been lots of space. It's felt safe and comfortable, and it's been really great to see some people that we haven't seen for... It's been great to see people, period. But it's been really great to see some people that we haven't seen for a long time. New horses or new people that they're bringing out to the shows. That kind of stuff. That's always fun. I think that's always fun. I didn't get to go to the two that you went to over the weekend.
Well, and there's lots of people that I haven't seen just because we normally wouldn't have went to those type of shows. But
yeah,
you know, I felt that a lot of the beginners and stuff needed to get out, so we went to some shows that we normally wouldn't have, and seen some old friends and old customers I haven't seen in many, many years. So yeah, it was sure just nice to be back and doing something that's routine or used to be routine for us. Hopefully kind of helps us as we get back to doing a little more of it. Hopefully, knock on wood, we don't get shut down. Do you have anything else on that one?
no, I think the other thing that we should probably acknowledge is all of our clients who have stuck with us through all of the uncertainty and you know, all of the lockdowns and restrictions and all those kinds of things. I know that everybody was really itching to ride and itching to know what was going to happen, and you know, we had to obviously follow these guidelines. We're a business. We have to follow all of the guidelines and do the best we can to protect ourselves and our community and all of that stuff. So we, you know, we did that, and we're thankful for the clients that stuck with us and chose to go to the shows, choose, you know, as always, we're always thankful for the clients that choose to come with us and show with us and trust us. I mean, I've been writing posts the last few days about all of the people most of the people who are showing for the first time. That's huge. That's a big deal. That's a big deal for, you know, to put your trust in us to help you get through the pen the first time, especially with all this uncertainty. So I think that we should also shout out.
That was a lot of fun too.
All of our clients, everybody who showed
Normally
for the first
we only
time.
have like a beginner or two at each show.
Yeah.
Going with a whole group of them was it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Everybody kept it between the rails and had a lot of fun. It was good.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
On to the next.
On to the next one. So, tips for people who are just getting back to showing now. You have some things you want to tell people who are getting back to showing now, or some concerns after being at the horse show.
One thing I saw, but not just saw, I mean, definitely part of it too, but everybody kind of forgets some horse has been sitting off for a while. And I realize, you know, we all have different levels of intensities at home, but You know, there were some horses at the horse shows that maybe weren't as in good a shape, mentally or physically. You know, they hadn't been prepared as long as, you know, we normally would like. You know, I was always told minimum 3 months of good riding to get one back in shape to go really stop and turn and, you know, work a cow and do whatever. And there was a few horses that maybe had the same physical conditioning as me, maybe not the best conditioning on. But I think the biggest thing everybody needs to remember on showing is respect that horse enough to say, okay, he's not in super shape. I can still bring him out. I can still play the game, but I don't need to run him down as hard as he was when he was in shape. And, you know, the mental part of that with the horses is they've been off. They don't need to go blast down there and spin as hard and do whatever. Saw a lot of people just through the whole show with a lot of uncertainty in their showing. You know, they just weren't as confident in what they're doing. And I felt bad for some people in that because they were people that I've known have showed for many years. They, you know, they know what they're doing, but it maybe just from sitting off for a year and a bit, they felt a little out of tune with everything. And I don't know if it's a great bit of advice, but chill out and enjoy it. You know, just don't torque on them horses and don't torque on yourself. You know, it's that early spring of, you know, if you kind of think of it other years, this would be early springtime for us where we're just getting them horses out. And, you know, be a little easy on them horses and people.
I'm going to chip in for a second here because I think I see or I'm hearing the same thing from the people where it's the end of July and people are thinking like, I should be here, I should be doing this, you know, why am I taking this penalty or why am I not scoring this or, you know, kind of like, what do I want to get done this year? And it's like, yeah, it's the end of July, but we've really only been to one show. Or some people haven't shown yet, or maybe 2 shows for the people who did like a double header. So,
well, and for
normally,
our crew, not back in lessons for very long either.
Yeah, not back in lessons.
You know, you kind of got to push into those lessons a little bit where you get everything back. Perfect example, a gentleman that rides with us. You know, we worked on a few things those couple weeks we could before the horse show, but we couldn't push as hard. You know, we just had to be a little more patient. Because he hadn't been riding very hard. Great guy and, you know, all that kind of stuff. But there's still that process of getting him back into shape mentally and physically to go prepare for those horse shows. You know, so it's a little discouraging to say, well, geez, you know, this horse was at a certain level, to, you know, a year and a half or even last year when we could show for a few months. But I know not all training barns shut down. You know, lots of people still rode, and that's fine. But for us, we shut our lessons down. And, you know, it's hard to just jump back in and get right in there again. You know, it takes a little time to kind of chisel away at them horses' brains and get them mentally focused to go show and in the groove when they've been allowed to be, you know, a little bit out there, maybe not as structured over the spring.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a, maybe like a fear of missing out too, like where it's almost the end of the year. I know I even feel it when I'm looking at our calendar for the rest of the summer and I'm thinking like, how am I going to fit in a whole summer's worth, a whole year's worth of fun things for the kids to do when we're really only getting a part of a year. And I think it's the same thing with the horses where you're not going to get a full season out of showing this year. You know, we didn't open up until a couple of weeks ago for shows, so we're late. Normally we would have been to a few shows, you know, we would have schooled on some horses in like March, we would have maybe even February, you know, we would have been out a little bit and we would have shown a little bit in April and May and June, and now we'd be getting into, you know, pushing on horses a little bit and maybe thinking about going for some kind of year end or seeing where somebody's at in standings or something like that. And we're not going to have a full season. We have to kind of acknowledge that and deal with what we do have left of this year. Make the best of the time that we do have, and try to fight back a little bit against that FOMO, that fear of missing out, because we don't want to hurt our horses, right?
And I mean,
take
we
the
see
fun
that
out of
other
it. Like
years.
you said, take the fun out of it.
You know, other years there's certain horses that will have half a season, whether it be from
an injury
or people's lives. You know, some people, like for us, we do a lot of youth kids here, so some of them kids have to adult for a little bit, and it's always that same thing. But usually we're telling that to one person at a time, not an entire horse show.
Not everybody. Yeah.
But and in saying that, I mean, I know the shows that I went to, there was lots of mistakes that normally would not have happened at a July horse show, but everybody did a really good job of what they did.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people realize that. Like, as coaches, we can kind of say, okay, like these little issues, you know, people haven't been working on them and stuff. And I've seen a lot of people maybe a little discouraged at their horses, but they haven't been schooling on them. They haven't been, like, stuff that they would already have been doing by July. You know, they just haven't had the opportunity to do. But I thought, like, from sitting back, I mean, even the people handled stuff well, I thought. Not to jinx it for next time, but some of the people, you know, I've known them for years. You know, I didn't expect it to maybe go as well as it did. You know, I show up at the horse show and I saw, there's one person in particular, I will not name names, but I was kind of expecting a bit of a rodeo from this one person, and give them credit. I mean,
nice.
Well, good person, but whatever.
You were expecting a rodeo, and there wasn't a rodeo.
There was not a rodeo.
Okay,
it was
good.
like at both shows. Everybody got along good. No
together.
Horses checked out.
I mean, some people have gotten to ride more than they ever have before during
Some
COVID.
have.
Some people are, you know, they're doing okay.
A lot of people rode, but I just noticed like a lot of
So here's the question.
silly penalty points that didn't need to happen, but acknowledging the fact they haven't been doing lessons and haven't been at some shows to figure that out.
Yeah.
As a first show, I thought it went very well.
Yeah. And it helps that the first show was like hot. Normally the first show, it's cold, there's a thunderstorm.
Snowstorm come through, or everybody's trying to find coats.
Horses are kind of wild, kind of bronky.
I miss going to Lansing in February.
Moving away from that. So here's a question for you. This one wasn't sent in, but I think it's interesting. How do you think us having been off as much as we have is going to influence when the border does open up and everybody's back showing, you know, if we do get to go to Congress, how do you feel like everybody in Ontario is going to fare after having all of the lockdowns that we've had, when other places, not every state, but other places have not had as much lockdown and have been able to show more, but potentially have, you know, we might have some kind of advantage with fresh horses. That's what I'm telling myself. What do you think? How do you think that's all gonna play out?
I feel like that's such an individual person answer, because the people that will take the time, keep riding their horses, pick on those penalties, pick on those maneuvers, they will succeed better because they have more time at home to pick stuff apart. And the people that got lazy and just rode...
lazy. Also, we're handling a pandemic, but okay, let's say the people that didn't ride instead of the people that got lazy.
Tomato, tomato.
I'm choosing to support all of the humans that survived the pandemic.
Well, and it was hard. I'm not saying it wasn't hard, but
it was mentally hard.
you either step up and it worked better, or
you didn't ride.
You didn't, and well, or just didn't ride with a goal, even though it was hard to see the end at the light of the tunnel for us.
Or you weren't able to ride because you were caring for a family member, or
well, that's
whatever.
completely different.
There's a lot of stuff. There's
or
a
your
lot
barn
of
was
things.
shut down. Like, there's lots of things, but the biggest one is the people that want to work at it will work at it no matter what.
Yeah.
And that's the same as, like, you know, it was hot today. You know, they said with the Humidex it was 40 degrees here.
Mm-hmm.
You either rode or you didn't.
Yeah.
And
tried.
It'll be the same people that succeed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, all you got to do is read any sports book, and it's the same thing. I mean, like I get.
Or you're getting motivational and like inspirational here.
Well, but the people.
I'm gonna start quoting Michael Jordan.
I was gonna do Michael Jordan. I was just gonna use Rainers, but I mean.
Okay.
You know, we hear it all the time. Oh, my pen got rained on. I won't ride.
Yeah.
We'll go ride somewhere else. Haul somewhere else, or ride in the mud.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
If those horses, you know, the people that want to succeed will succeed.
Yeah.
I do think soundness-wise, mentally and physically, in the fall shows, if we go across the border, it will be easier for us to show because we haven't been showing a lot. The horses will be fresher, and if maintained properly, it will be an advantage to the people that haven't. It'll be easier to maintain the horses as a coach because they haven't. Mm-hmm. It will be harder to get the people motivated that haven't been wanting, you know, or maybe they've been doing lessons but just haven't been gung-ho to be doing it. I know I was talking to a good friend of mine in Michigan this morning, and I know back at the beginning of the year, our questions or our conversations always revolve around where you're showing, how hard you going, what do you got for 3-year-olds, all that stuff. And I can remember him back in the spring or late winter telling me, "Oh, I'm not going to go very hard. I just want to stay home a little bit and whatever." And every weekend I've talked, he's been somewhere else. Every weekend he's been showing, he's been running the wheels off his trailer. You know, everybody just did something different this year. Luckily for him, it don't matter. He can show an old horse that's been shown 100 times anyways. But
now, you're not talking about 3-year-olds when you're talking about having an advantage.
I think the advantage on the 3-year-olds, and we saw it last year, even in the States where they had fewer shows, is people didn't show as much, weren't showing as much, so they had more time to be on their 3-year-olds. You know, they didn't take Fridays, Saturdays off because they were off at a horse show. And those couple extra days every little while sure adds up. You know, when you saw the fraternity, and whether it just be it was a good group of fraternity horses or whatever.
We did comment on
there
that.
was just so many that were so nicely broke, so solid, because they had that little more time. So I think the people that take advantage of it will rise to the top and it'll work. You know, so you don't have to go out to dinner once a week. You know, there's no place to go out to dinner. Go ride your horse. If you want it, you do it. And, you know, I mean, things are opening up now, so we're going out to do a little more stuff. But you either ride them or you don't. And I think soundness-wise, it'll help. You know, you don't get those end-of-the-year horses that are a little beat up, you know, from hauling down the road so much. But I think, you know, the people that still went out and did stuff. I know one friend of mine that's down in Virginia at the Invitational this weekend. I mean, you know, same thing. He just went and ran to Ancaster a couple times. He wanted to make sure his 3-year-olds were prepared to go to the Invitation. There's no shows to go to back in the spring. So he went and rented the facility and made his own horse show. And those are things you have to do. I mean, you know, we go ride at other arenas, not all the time, but as much as we can. You gotta, you know, if you're gonna prepare them right and do what you can. Get out and ride and get them done. I do think as the year goes on, now that things are opening up, the concern will be though that everybody will show them harder in quicker intervals, and that will be a bit of a catch-22 though. Like instead of showing once every 3-4 weeks, they'll do like every weekend and just go show.
Yeah, because all the shows are they're sure jumping up and putting them on now.
Sure, they're trying to condense 7 months of shows into a three-month show season.
Yeah.
And who knows what'll happen across the border? I mean, they say would you say August 8th?
August 9th, I think they're allowing non-essential vaccinated Americans, I believe, to cross the border.
Americans.
Yeah.
So we can't go there?
I don't know. I didn't read the whole thing, but it sounded like.
Well, if we can't go there, we don't want them.
Your daughter is there.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
And I will go see her.
Just making sure. Okay, let's wrap this up. Thanks for watching, you guys. I'm not sure if anybody has any questions about
This
us
one really
being
wasn't
back showing.
questionable.
Not a
things.
lot of, not a lot of
This
questions
is just
can
us
be asked.
spewing
This is just
words.
us talking at you, looking at our own faces while we talk. Hope
I look heavenly with the sun behind
You
me.
do. You kind of look like an angel. You have like backlighting.
You betcha.
It's just making my hair look really frizzy.
Thanks for watching.
Okay, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this live and you're looking for more instruction from us about riding, about lope departures, pattern 5, what else do we have in there? All kinds of stuff. Side passing, spins, lead changes, all the things. If you're looking for concrete lesson plans to do with your horse, riding plans, audio lessons, all that stuff, that all can be found inside of our online coaching program, which is called Momentum. You can find out more information about getting on the wait list for that at momentumhcph.com. If you are interested in sending us a question for one of our future lives, you can send that to hazekofalph@gmail.com. We would love to have some more questions to look through. We tend to fire through a lot of questions in one live because we talk so much. We get through a lot of questions. So if you have some questions to send in, please send them in. And
if you just want to know good cooking recipes, just text me. And
oh my gosh.
you know how to raise children. You know all
Oh
those
my
things.
gosh. Recipes on how to raise children. Okay, we're shutting this down. I'm not sure what's in that. Not sure what's in that thermos.
We'll answer anything.
Shutting her down. Thank you for being here with us, and we hope you will join us next week on Tuesday at 7:30. Good night.